to essentially unite the Muslims, which in essence it